What is up, Pod Nation? Welcome to the Pod Slave podcast. It is episode 96, which is absolute insanity. But we are here with my friends, Anthony, Tony, my two homies, and my other homie, one of my best friends of all time. Rob's with us today, too.
What's up, boys?
Rob.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me back. I was waiting for the invite.
Oh, yeah. He's been waiting a while because it was episode 17 that we had him on. So we're going back.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Damn.
We're going
That's
back
crazy.
Quite some time. That came out, man, that came out way back on, I'll give you the day here.
I feel like it was in
July
the spring.
3rd. July 3rd of
July
2020.
3rd.
Wow.
What?
So
That's
a year and a
crazy.
half since we had Rob on, which is too long. I mean, we've seen you, we've talked to you, but we wanted to bring you back to nerd out with us because that's always fun too.
I love it. Thank you, guys.
The fact that Tone didn't know the date on the top of his head is concerning.
Yeah.
There's too many of them back there now, man. I forget. I knew the number. It was 17.
All the other useless information that stays right in that kid's head, and he couldn't come up with that.
So much. And thank you for calling me a kid.
And actually, Rob, this is a tryout to be the permanent fourth host. So no pressure.
Oh, don't tell Greg. Don't tell Greg.
Wow. All right.
So if your contributions suck, then sorry. We'll go with Greg.
No, I'm looking to be the fourth member of the Pod Nation here with Podio Slave. So
We love it.
Return to form. I mean, you did it for, career for a long time with an actual terrestrial radio. So if anything, you know what you're doing more than us. We're just kind of figuring it out as we go.
Well, yes and no. You guys know podcasts, I think, are completely different because when I was on the radio, it was, 90% of the time it was just me. But you guys are hanging out, having a full-on conversation with each other. And I've been listening to what you guys do, and I told you, it's funny, and know you guys all personally, and of course, I'm so freaking proud of these guys because you guys I've seen you guys and heard you guys get better doing what you do over the past year and a half, 2 years now, and I love it. I think it's great.
Hell yeah, man. Thank you.
Coming from a rock radio legend. That's how we positioned you, Rob, as the rock radio legend. And it's true.
I'll take it, Twan. I'll take it. I like it.
So yeah, we won't get into Rob's history. If you want to hear all that, go listen to episode 17. Be gentle. We were still pretty early on, but Rob sounds good. So go listen to episode 17.
Yeah. And with that said, we got a pretty exciting episode today. So we're going to geek out on something very special later. A little hint, masterpiece songs. I'll just leave it at that. But before that, we got a few topical things which came to mind, and we thought we'd hash these out a little bit. So what do we got, Tom?
We got there was a little bit of news, right?
Yep.
Both locally for us, which I still think we can put a national spin on too, but also the news that Matt Skiba, right? Did I say that correctly?
Yeah, not Skiba.
Matt Skiball.
Matt Skiba of Blink-182, currently Fame, and Alkaline Trio in the past, made a little mention that he might be doing a little work with Tom DeLonge. So, A, is he DeLonging, and B, does that mean Blink-182 is getting back together?
So wait, he's in the band now, in Blink now,
Correct.
and now he's talking about going to do some work with Tom,
Yeah. Yep.
who's not in the band. That's interesting.
Well, in some capacity, it's very broad. It's very cryptic.
Yeah.
It could be Tom's coming back for like a super Blink group. It could be they're doing their own thing. I'm not excited for this. I don't really
Wow.
care. You know what I mean? Because like Skiba with Blink, I don't think works at all.
Okay, fair enough. Well, I mean, maybe he's just going to be the dude pushing buttons in the booth.
Right. I mean, in what capacity are they working together? Is he like getting them coffees? Like, what is he doing?
Wow.
Maybe because I've been on a radio for 5.5 years now. I don't even know who the skee ball guy is.
You remember? You remember Alkaline Trio, right? I think they played.
Of course, yeah. I remember. Is that the singer?
The singer, yeah.
All right.
He replaced, they say in air quotes, Tom and Blank for the last couple albums.
Okay. I do remember that happening now because that probably did happen. I want to say probably, I'm going to guess maybe like 16.
Yeah, right around then. Yep.
Okay. Because I do remember that happening. But yeah, interesting. Who knows? Side project, fourth edition. Blink is now a 4-piece. Who knows?
Well, I mean, we did a predictions episode, I think, at the end of 2020, and we predicted that they'd get back together. And it hasn't happened yet, but this is like the first real breadcrumb that it might, just because Skiba is in Blink now. So like, if he's working with Tom, what else could he be doing? He's got to be coming around, hanging out at band practice, right?
Well, if they do come out with a side project, I think they should call it Blink Boxcar 44.
Yes, I'm in.
Yeah, Twan called it Blink 184 instead of 183. But yeah, we're all trying to, figure it out. I think where my head went with, just based on what Tone said mainly, and Twan, is, maybe it is return to form with Blink and Tom's coming back. But because Tom has got multiple projects between, he's directing movies, he's got Angels and Airwaves, he's got a lot going on, and he's kind of unreliable, I guess. I'm saying that as polite as I can, that he leaves and he's quit Blink twice already, right? So I almost feel like, well, if we bring Tom back, is he going to leave again? And do we have to like rehire Matt?
Oh, it'd just be a one-off, Nate. I don't think it would be a full-time he's back in the band.
Yeah, I have no idea. But if they kept him on, then it's like, okay, yeah, is he in the back behind the curtain playing like rhythm guitar along with Tom in the background? I kind of think of like Chili Peppers, like when John Frusciante got invited back, they still haven't played, right, with the whole pandemic. And Josh got kicked out. I was surprised because Josh Klinghoffer, that replaced John in the Chili Peppers, was originally the guitar tech for Frusciante. So when he got kicked out, I was really surprised that they didn't keep him on as even just a roadie, because that's what he did beforehand. As much as that's kind of like a demotion, regardless, he was in the camp. So
yeah, it's always interesting when, those key members become options to return to the band again. It's like, what do you do? Do you make them, make the band bigger? Do you,
give the guy who took his place a boot? Right. Yeah.
Well, because how many bands have, so if he came back, they could potentially have 3 singers. Has there ever been a good band with 3 singers? I can't even think of.
Well, if you've got 3, you've got none, right?
That's a good question.
Quarterback thing. If you got 2 quarterbacks, you got 0 quarterbacks because they both kind of suck.
Van Halen had 3 singers, but only 2 good ones. Sorry, Gary Strong.
Then you get the awkward bands with the drummer has like a predominant, a big singing role, and that never really works. It's like, who the fuck's singing? Is this a backtrack?
Maybe Travis will start singing. Get them all singing. Like, let's just go. Let's just throw shit against the wall and see if it works.
Machine Gun Kelly is going to join. It's going to be
Blink 180 Collective.
I don't know. If it's like a super group thing, I don't know if I care.
You're out on it. All right, fair enough. I'm in. I want to see what happens. I would like for it to happen just because, the last time they were together wasn't the album that they put out wasn't great, but the one before it's amazing. So if they're all dialed, I think it could be really good.
Yeah, I don't know where I stand on it. I think I would like to see them play together one last time, but I think the magic is dissipated a long time ago. So when Tom left, it was like almost like I don't blame him kind of thing. I still love the band, don't get me wrong, but Blink 182 is a young man's game in terms of what they were doing and what they stand for. So playing What's My Age Again at 55 it hits different. Let's put it that way.
Nobody likes you when you're 55.
Let's talk about Bull Moose.
Yeah.
So we've talked about Bull Moose on this podcast a ton. They are a Northeast, mostly Maine, a little bit of New Hampshire record store that is not just records. They do everything. That has been kind of our home as far as buying music for a long time, for really all 4 of us. I would think you too, Rob. I know, especially being in Portland now for 20 plus years, it has been a place that we've all frequented to buy, records and CDs and tapes and T-shirts and stickers and video games and everything, right? They have it all. So they just recently announced, I think as of this recording about a week ago, that they sold to their more than 140 employees, which is kind of wild. So yeah, that's in the news. It's a big deal, I think, for us, at least locally. And it's something to talk about music wise that, it's a new thing. It's an independent record store, kind of like an independent label selling to its employees. Interesting stuff.
It's so cool that Brett did that. And I saw that on the news. I did not expect that at all, but the employees are super pumped about it. And they did a segment about how, the employees already, they seem to, a good chunk of them seem to enjoy their jobs, but like now you're going to get like awesome customer service when you walk in there because these people are going to have, a hand in it and love their job even more. So, and I love the fact that Bull Moose is still around because, we've talked about this before, how many record stores still exist locally. And we have still 4 or 5 locations left?
Yep. At least in our, that we could get to within 20 minutes, right?
Right.
It's funny, the narrative online, when that story was announced, there were a lot of people that were very negative about it. Like, they didn't read the article. They were like, oh, now you're going to, the employees have to buy into it. And it's like, well, that's typically not how it works. It's not like
the owner doesn't have anything to do with it anymore.
Right. It's a shared ownership, and it's basically, employee share structure. And if I was an employee, it's a fucking dream. It's very positive. Yep. Anyone that's negative about it, I don't think knows enough about it.
Correct.
And you know what? I'm sure the owner's going to eat too. Like, he'll retain some shares, I'm sure, Yep.
Well, he's keeping Field Stack, which is the thing that Brett created back 10 years or so ago, that kind of tracks how things are sold in each store and what's popular in, South Portland, Maine may not be popular in Keene, New Hampshire, but, they can tell.
It was AI before that was a thing, Yeah.
So he's keeping that going too, which is his thing. And Brett Weckert is the former owner of Bull Moose, one of the former owners of Bull Moose. So he'll still have that to kind of sell to other places too, I would think.
Yeah, I think it's nothing but positive. I'm going to give a little plug here. There's a brewery out here called Modern Times. They do craft coffee and craft beer. It's completely employee owned. And it's really just another perk because, working in the beer industry, like, the pay's not great. It's hard work and you have no skin in the game. So if you're getting ownership like you do at Modern Times, it's like, well, it's just an extra incentive. It's an extra, you feel like, the harder you work, it's actually go into something like that's really hard to find, and people may not know this that are outside of our region in Southern Maine, but Bull Moose is actually a pretty big deal. There's only so many independent record stores that have made a statement, and Bull Moose is one of them. They were a big contributor to starting Record Store Day, which is at this point world renowned. And along with Bull Moose, there's only so many that come to mind. It's like Bull Moose, Amoeba Music out here in California, which we had Mark on, and Newbury Comics down in Mass, and maybe a handful of others across the country. But for the most part, it's those handful, a few that just have one independent flagship store, and then your FYEs of the world. So, Bull Moose is not just a,
is FYE still a thing?
I was just going to ask the same question.
For your entertainment.
Sam Goody or Best Buy even now, or Walmart for that matter.
There's one left at the Mall of Minnesota.
Oh, yeah?
No, I have no idea.
The Mall of Minnesota. You mean the Mall of America?
No, actually, I was saying the Mall of Minnesota. Why is the Mall of America in Minnesota?
Yes.
It is, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe that's why I said it.
No, it's bigger than regional because they have a huge e-commerce presence. Their online distro is massive. Like, I belong to a bunch of Facebook groups about vinyl, and a lot of people I see take screen grabs of like, oh, I pre-ordered this, and it's from Bull Moose. It's the Bull Moose website, and they're not from Northeast, so it's big. So
consensus, we're all pretty happy about it.
I'm in.
I mean, I'm down
absolutely.
I'm down for them to continue to be, open and viable. It's one of my favorite places to go. When they closed the Portland store about a year ago, I was super bummed because it was a place that my wife and I went every Sunday, and it just stopped being a thing. But they only did that because of the way, the pandemic was going, and they weren't getting a lot of foot traffic, but everything else has stayed open. Everything else is going. So.
Yep. No, I'm a fan. I'm a fan of this. It's progressive. They don't have to do it. The fact that they're taking that lead to make it happen, I'm hoping other independent record stores follow suit, and other small independent companies realize that you're going to have to do something. It's 2022. Minimum wage is going up. Salaries are going up. Cost of living is going up. You have to add extra value. Otherwise, see you later. You're not going to matter. So props to Bull Moose.
It won't happen. People are too selfish.
Yeah.
And their pride will get to them, and their business will go under, and they'll watch it sink.
Exactly. Yep.
Sadly, the truth.
All right, boys, you guys ready to get into it? Main segment in action. Rob, you ready? You ready for this?
Let's do it.
All right, so this segment is, I think we're calling it perfect songs. I think, Nate, you mentioned masterpiece songs. So this is perfect songs. And we all came with, 2 or 3 of them. Before we get into it, just kind of real quick, what's your criteria? What's everyone's criteria? I think we might have different criteria, because I'll throw mine at. Everything about the song, you just wouldn't change. Everything about it. Lyrics, vocals, chord progression, harmonies, melodies, verses, choruses, all that fun stuff. The song takes every angle you'd want it to. If you could kind of weave the song, that's how it would end up. And lyrics are huge. There's great songs that have shitty lyrics that they don't stick with you. And replay value. A lot of, like the ones I picked, I could listen to these 10 times in a row, like on back-to-back days. So that's my criteria.
I can't wait to hear these.
I'm excited for it too. The replay value is a big one for me, Twan. That was when thinking of this, I was like, I listened to a couple songs, I listened to them back to back, and I thought to myself, I'm not sick of this. I can listen to it again. I'm going to move on because I need to find more, but that helped. And being able to listen to it and not want to change anything and not be upset that it came on again.
Yeah, I think for me, like my bullet points were pretty close to the same. I think we're in the same nerd space for the most part. I put like you said, chord progression, lyrics, song structure, reaction and emotion, mood, catchiness. These are all kind of conducive to what you said. You don't think about that when you hear a song that you love, but when you're doing the nerd homework to prep for things like this, you're like, wow, there's actually more into why you love a song so much than you think. You're like, oh, God damn, there's a reason why this song or this album continues to take the top spots for me. So,
yep.
So why do you love Saliva's Click Click Boom?
Wait, no, that's mine, dude.
Man, we haven't had a Saliva joke in a long time.
It's been a while. Yeah.
So Nate, you mentioned nerd homework.
Yep.
That when Tone had mentioned that we're going to be discussing this tonight, that is exactly what I sat down to do, and I stopped it as quick as I sat down to do it. And there's a reason. I said, if I start going through my playlist and start looking at songs, I'm literally going to lose a whole day of my life doing this, and I'm going to drive myself crazy and not be able to pick 2 or 3 songs. So what I did was I essentially just picked 3 songs that pop in my head as songs that I love and I know that I love. And it's not just, Twan, you mentioned how you guys and Nate too, how you guys picked the song. What I meant to do, and I made a point to do, these are not favorites of mine. They are what I personally think are the perfect song. Doesn't necessarily mean that, actually, you know what? I do love the songs, but I wouldn't call them favorites. Maybe the first one, but yeah, it's just like, it's everything you guys said. And I was like, you know what? You're not putting personalized thoughts into this. Put the phone down. You're not going through your 37 playlists on Spotify. You're just going with those 3.
I love that. That's a great, because it's like gut feeling, right? You're just, these are the ones that pop into my head. I need that.
Yeah.
Like almost objectively, like these are perfect.
Correct.
Yeah, man. Because
that's how I did it.
I mean, once we start hitting playlists and CD binders, that's a fucking whole weekend.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. It's a rabbit hole is what it is, Twan.
It's a deep rabbit hole too.
Yeah.
Would have taken us quite a bit longer to get this episode out for sure.
Right.
So what do they say? The guest goes first?
Yeah. Yep. The guest goes first.
All right. So it's kind of funny. Tone, you know me. My favorite decade is what?
The 80s.
Well, my 3 songs, 2 of them are from the 70s and 1 is from the 90s.
Oh, wow.
Ooh,
wow.
Interesting.
Probably because I know a lot of 80s music sucks, but I just love it anyway. So,
well, yeah, I mean, there's a part of that it doesn't really matter. The suck is part of why it's perfect. But yeah, I get
exactly. Absolutely. But, all right. So the first one, I'll do them kind of in succession when they came out. This one's from 1973. First song released from this artist. And it's one of those songs that it tells a story. It's autobiographical. It's the melody is amazing. And he wrote the song about his life the year before, essentially like the year before he wrote the song and it was released. So, but that aside, just remember listening to this song when I was a kid, and I just always thought it was the perfect song. It's Piano Man, Billy Joel.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Yeah, that's a great one. That didn't even cross my mind, and man, you're absolutely right. It is so good. It gives you a vibe. Gives you a feeling.
Yes, a vibe.
Yeah, right. It's
you can listen to him talking about John at the bar. That's the friend of his, and you can picture what that bar in 1973 looked like, with Billy Joel playing the piano and everybody ripping butts and drinking, and it just makes you want to be at a bar in 1973.
You know what's awesome is I actually I had this song too as one of mine, which I'll probably use another song instead. But
no way.
It was
Wait,
one
you
of the
had
first.
Piano Man?
Yeah. Oh, totally. Because it is a perfect song. I mean, yeah,
that's amazing.
It happens more often than you think on here, because we're like big time nerds, so we're just like in the same space.
I love that you had Piano Man as one of your options, though. That's amazing.
I mean, it's just quintessential to a perfect song, and you explained it pretty much perfect. It's like, yeah, it paints the picture. It's very relatable. I mean, it's like there's very few songs that are structured so, eloquently than Piano Man. It's like, it's a classic, and you feel like you're there. It's one of the few songs where you actually, if you close your eyes, you're like, I'm there right now.
I'm there right now. Absolutely. For sure. Yeah. And then the drunken sing along, the la da 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 da. Can I do that without us having to pay for that?
Yep, you can. Yep.
All right.
If Billy comes after us, we'll forward him onto you.
Perfect.
Yep. And we have fond memories. We saw Billy Joel together with Elton John, the back-to-back tour.
So I don't want to spoil anything in case I'm invited back to a best concerts of all time. But I tell people that was my favorite concert that I ever went to.
Oh, it was amazing.
Wow. Even though we missed the first 20 minutes of Elton John, it was still amazing because we sat in that bridge in Tampa that's 35 miles long, and we were in traffic the whole time.
Oh God, probably super anxious. Get me there.
God.
Yeah.
Concert Wars Part 2.
Rob and Nate late for a concert is not a good thing.
No, I could see that.
Especially this one.
I know both of you guys. I could totally see that.
No, we did an episode called Concert Wars, which was our favorite concert. So we'll have to do round 2.
Yeah.
All right. Who wants to go next?
All right, I'll jump in. All right, Rob, when we found out you're going to come on, I knew you loved the 80s. So this is a song from the 80s.
Let me try and guess it.
Okay. I'm going to tease it. So give a few clues. Okay. There's actually 2 songs that this artist, solo male artist, fits this criteria. This specific one, 1982, solo male artist, massive, massive movie soundtrack song to one of the greatest high school movies of all time. Pop rock song. You hear this song and you're brought back to being younger.
1982. And he came back and had a big hit from a teen movie. Is that what you said?
Well, I don't know if he came back. I mean, he was doing his thing for a while, but this is a smash song that was in tandem with a movie soundtrack.
Movie soundtrack from 82?
From 82. From 82.
Oh, okay. The movie. Okay, I must have misunderstood you. All right. Jesus.
What's the movie?
I should know this.
I'll give you the movie. Fast Times.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Oh my
Fast
God.
Times.
All right. So I love that you're picking Somebody's Baby by Jackson Browne.
Yes, I am.
Because that
you had it too.
That is a phenomenal song. Yeah, that is a perfect song in so many ways. It's resembling of Piano Man with the melody, and you can be there when you hear the lyrics, and it's a great song.
It comes in right with a bop. The lyrics are on point. Again, the movie's perfect. I mean, how can you not fucking love that movie? It's upbeat, keeps you dialed in. I mean, I think he's got a great voice. The lyrics, I mean, who can't relate to those lyrics at that age?
Oh, absolutely.
It's just, not having the confidence. You think she's taken, so you don't do it. It's like, did I write these lyrics? Like, what?
Yeah, totally.
And fun fact about that song is he just started playing that song at concerts again.
Oh, wow. That's right. You're right.
And how do I know this? Because I'm a nerd like you three. I always will go online and look at set lists. And not only do I look at set lists of the current tour, well, I'm going to go way back as well and see what else I can find. And he hadn't played that song. I think he went 30 years without playing that song live. And when he came to the main state pier, I don't know if any of you guys were there, he busted it out. I was so pumped about it. So he just started playing it again.
It's funny you say that because when I saw him at the Merrill, it was an acoustic tour in 2010, 2011. It was mostly deep cuts. I'm a huge fan, and I knew maybe half the stuff.
Oh, wow.
Right.
It was one of those. And no Somebody's Baby. That did not make the cut. But I think it's objectively great, but also subjectively, obviously, great. I think it's just universal. I think you can't miss with this song.
I love your picked one. Absolutely agree.
It's a great pick. I mean, that movie's great. That song is great. He's a great artist. There's so many great Jackson Browne songs. I remember listening to Jackson Browne with my dad on road trips as a kid. So yeah, that hits me for sure. Yeah.
And to go along with what you said, Rob, I just saw him open for James Taylor here in San Diego, and he played that song.
Oh, nice.
And it was it's magical. It's a very captivating song. Very relatable. Like you said, Twan, it's like an 80s version of a Blink-182 song, right? You're like,
that's a great point.
Did I write this?
Wait, is he going to join Blink too now?
Yeah, right.
Yes. Yeah, he's part of the Blink 180 collective.
Not Jackson Browne, just James Taylor.
Yeah.
All right, who's up? Nate, Tone, you hitting us with it?
I got it. I got one. Mine is also from a movie soundtrack.
Ooh.
1994 is the movie. It is a hip hop track. Tupac was in the movie, but he's not on the song, if that gives you anything.
Either Poetic Justice or Juice?
Neither movie.
Gridlocked?
Nope. Above the Rim.
Oh.
Dude, I have the soundtrack to Above the Rim.
No.
Then what song am I talking about?
I'm dying. Well, I mean, Nate Dogg was on the soundtrack. SWV
he's
was on
this
the soundtrack.
Song. Nate Dogg is on this song.
There's a great song about afros on that soundtrack.
It's not that one. This is Warren G. Regulate.
Ooh,
yes,
nice.
Of course.
Because, I mean, who doesn't love Warren G's Regulate? And It came out in 94, featuring Nate Dogg, as we said.
Threw me off with that one. I don't see that one as a soundtrack song because it was the album too.
I agree.
You're right.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was on that.
3 different songs were sampled to make this song. Do you guys know them? Rob, you might know. The big one is obviously.
Well, of course I know Michael McDonald. I keep forgetting, but there was more.
Yeah. Bob James, Sign of the Times, which I'd never heard before, and Dr. Dre's "Let Me Ride." That one line where Nate Dogg says "Let me ride."
Let me ride.
Yeah. So those 3 songs were sampled, and this is obviously sampling in hip hop. It's been going on forever. I love when it happens. Go listen to that Michael McDonald song. It's a great song, and you can see where it comes from, and that's kind of fun. But this song is just perfect front to back. It tells a story. There is no hook. The hook is just the whistling, right? There is no actual verse, chorus verse. It's just verses with the whistling in between and the beat coming from, Michael McDonald. And it's just so fucking good, man. You can't not listen to this song and be happy. It's just a classic hip hop track and kind of sums up that era too. So Warren G's Regulate is a perfect song.
Oh, so good. A lot of positive connotation too, because it reminds me of the Beach House. That was a Beach House staple. Yeah.
We haven't ever talked about the Beach House out here, have we, Dave?
I know. No.
That's for another day.
Real quick, I love the synopsis on Wiki. It goes this: Warren G is driving alone through Eastside Long Beach at night, looking for women. He finds a group of men playing dice and tries to join them, but they pull out their guns and rob him instead.
And Nate Dogg is doing the same thing, and then he finds Warren G getting robbed and pulls his gun out. Yeah, it's not super happy, I guess, but the song's great.
It's like you're right there, just like those other songs.
Yeah, exactly. Relatable.
Not a world I grew up in the streets of South Portland, Maine, but
Right.
All right, yeah, Nate, what do you got?
All right, so I'm looking through a pretty long list, but I had backups just in case we had the same one. So obviously, Rob, you and I both had Piano Man by Billy Joel. So I'm going to go ahead and scratch that one and go for this one instead. And I tried not to do this, like the whole favorite song thing. I tried to step away from it and just think perfect songs. But this one definitely was came to mind right away. I'm like, shit. All right, fine. I'm going to go with this one. It's Dire Straits' Sultans of Swing.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a great song.
I fucking love this song so much, and I love everything about it. It jumps right in, starts right away. The guitars are amazing. Obviously, Mark Knopfler is a phenomenal guitarist. The storyline within the lyrics are also great. It's just such
another Piano Man type song if you think about it.
Totally.
It's
when you were
stories in the verses.
Yep.
And as far as the chorus, it's just the song title, right? And then the
Yep. Yeah.
Stop! You're gonna get us sued.
No, sorry.
The algorithm was triggered there.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think for me personally, maybe what makes a perfect song is maybe not, but maybe potentially is a really good guitar solo, and this guitar solo in this one is just all time. So
at the end there, so good. It's a soothing song. And this is one kind of like what you said, Twan, earlier. I could listen to the song 10 times in a row, days in a row, and be totally fine with it. It wouldn't bother me. I would almost be more of a fan somehow. So I don't know. I love this song. I love the band too. I wish they would get back together because I would love to see this live someday. That's another thing with Dire Straits. They have Mark Knopfler called it 35 years ago, maybe, or maybe about 30 years ago. I think it was like 89 was their last album they did. And as far as I know, if there was any bad blood, they kind of kept it pretty quiet.
Yeah.
A long time.
Yeah, come on, guys. That would be one of those amazing, like up there with Talking Heads.
Oh,
yep,
yeah.
it would be so cool to for that to happen, man.
All right, we into round 2 now?
Yep.
Round 2. Rob, what do you got?
Oh, shit. Back to me. All right, couple years after that. So you guys will probably be able to figure this one out pretty quick. I'll see who can guess it first. Very non-traditional song, just in the realm of, you think every perfect song should have a chorus to it, you would think. Well, there's no
Except for the
chorus
one
in
I
this song.
picked, I mean.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. We just talked about that. Regulate. Yeah. So this song is very different. It's all over the place. It starts a cappella. It goes into like a ballad piece.
Queen, Bohemian Rhapsody.
Nailed it.
Oh, nice.
It is. I agree.
You've got your operatic unison, and then it rocks out, and then it goes back to a ballad, and all during the song, it says a bunch of stuff that makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. It's amazing.
It's so fucking good.
So didn't I had this as the best song of all time in a previous episode?
Did a long time
Did you?
ago, Twan.
The single best song of all time, which is funny. I didn't even think about it for this episode.
I'm not looking at my phone. It was the Bring a Hot Take episode.
It was,
which is like early 30s, which was the summer of 2020, August of 2020, I believe.
Wow.
It was 42 minutes and 16 seconds into our podcast when we were talking about it.
That I don't know, but I do remember it, and I remember getting shit from a friend, Mike in Texas, was like, really, that's a hot take, and we're like, but like, dispute it. It's a great song.
Name a better one.
Yeah, there's really you can't go wrong with that song just because it's just so amazing in so many ways.
Absolutely. And you know what is really cool, kind of recently too, is with the movie. What was the movie called again that came out?
Wayne's World.
No, not. Well, that's good too. That showcases it.
That was recent, Rob. Yes.
That showcases it in a different light.
Oh shit! I missed the recent part.
Or actually, I guess the movie was called Bohemian Rhapsody, right?
I think it was.
Yeah,
yes, Bohemian Rhapsody, the movie. Yes.
And they talk about
Wayne's World 2. Wayne's World 2.
Yeah, Wayne's World 2.
No, that's Jim Morrison and the Doors, bro.
But Bohemian Rhapsody, that movie just really gives some really fantastic context on that song, like being in the record label, and he was like, there's no way this is going to be played on the radio.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
It's like, this is just like, what is this song? Like, what are we supposed to even call this? Like, what genre is this? It was like the most confusing thing to put out to a record label. Like, yeah, this is a great song, right? And they're like, no, this is a terrible song. And now we're all calling it one of the best songs of all time, which it absolutely is.
Those guys are never right. Let the artists be the ones that tell you what's great. Go ahead.
Being in radio for years, I can second that. I've seen it happen. And, Bohemian Rhapsody, for example, it's a 6-minute song. There's no edit to it that I know of. And it was a huge hit on mainstream radio. So,
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I remember when we posted that online, I was on Reddit, and Reddit's like the trolls under the bridge, but they were like, that's not even in Queen's top 20 songs. I'm like, are we talking about the same Queen?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Or they're like secret albums that I don't know about. Great pick.
Yeah, that's a great pick, Rob.
Nice guess.
All right, Twan, what do you got?
So whatever I pick here, it will be dictated by how many we're going to do. How many do you think we'll do? 2 or 3?
We'll do 3.
Yeah.
I'm calling it.
I'm always the influencer.
The Egger honor.
Yeah.
Nate doesn't edit it, so
No, I haven't. I haven't let Nate talk me into doing something in quite some time. So
I know.
I got to go.
I was always the instigator. Yeah.
you are an
Always.
instigator.
Yeah.
All right, let's do 3. I got a third one.
All right. So this is one, again, I'm going to cater to the audience here. So this is 1985. That's the first hint. Pop rock power pop from the UK. There's a gold record of the band in
The
back
Outfield?
of me.
Aha.
Say it again.
Take on me. Aha.
What did you say, Tony?
I think, Tony, you were
I
right.
said the outfield.
The Outfield. Off Play Deep, Your Love.
Your love. Great song.
Perfect song.
Oh, absolutely.
Perfect song. I mean, the vocals, Tony Lewis, rest in peace, one of the best vocalists of all time. And even late in the game, he could still bring it.
No, that Play Deep record in general is just, it's such a great underrated album. But obviously with Your Love, you cannot go wrong with that song. That's a song that was obviously a huge hit at the time, but has gotten this resurgence over the past several years. I'm not sure exactly how or why, but it's just one of those amazing songs that captures like all generations of music fans, like young and old. Everyone loves that song.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And honestly, to kind of piggyback on that, how you can tell a song's great is how like deep into the future it gets covered, and not just covered live, but recorded. a lot of bands have recorded this. If you go on YouTube, which I've done a million times, it's a bunch of great covers of like, you know, pretty well-known bands. It was on like the Punk Goes 80s. I forget who covered it. Midtown, I think, covered it. But yeah, Play Deep is fucking amazing. You know, Say It Isn't So, I Don't Need Her, Every Time You Cry, 61 Seconds, All the Love in the World.
All the Love.
Yeah,
so
amazing. Good. But I think Your Love is like, it's got to be top 5 of the 80s. Top 5 songs of the 80s all day. Everyone knows it. Yep. Everyone can sing it. A lot of people don't know who the band is, but
they don't know it's the Outfield.
They know the song. Oh, is that Sting? Is that the Police?
Yeah.
Right. Outfield ended up coming out with some good music after that too. Nothing that was really super big, but I continue to listen to their records and some really solid stuff that they came out with.
I agree. Oh, easiest song to play. One of the most simple songs to play. Like I used to play that on the guitar.
Yeah.
Just power chords.
And maybe simplicity is part of what makes it an amazing song. It's not a whole lot to figure out, right? It's just, this is digestible. I can, whether it's relatable or not. But yeah, I agree with you, man. Great song, great album, and gone too soon, unfortunately. There's another reunion that we would have loved to see for sure.
All right, am I up?
Round 2.
You're up.
I'm also pandering. I'm going 80s, and Rob, you'll know this one because you and I have sent videos back and forth of each other playing random air musician guitar keyboard.
Lionel Richie, hello.
No, that's a good one. But playing the keyboard on the song. Playing the keyboard on the wall, or air guitar.
Absolutely. Give me the year.
1983.
Oof, 83 was a huge year for music. Band or solo?
It is a band. The video is all time. Lots of air guitar and air keyboard and a model just walking around in high heels.
Journey, separate ways.
Hell yes.
Yeah.
Everybody loves Don't Stop Believing, but come on, Separate Ways is the best Journey song, and I will fight anybody that says otherwise.
You get the classic 80s keyboard at the beginning.
It's so good. It's so good. And just go watch the video if you don't think this is perfect, because Steve Perry is just going for it. And the other guys are like kind of into it. It's just hysterical to watch because they're playing their instruments and then they're playing them air, whether it be on the wall or
it's so ridiculous.
Pretending to play the keyboard like they're a raptor just cutting people in Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
They were one of the handful of bands that got caught in the really bad video.
Yes.
For the 80s that when that video was done, they sat back and watched it. They were all like, yeah, that was awesome.
We did it, guys.
Went by.
Because it fit the time.
Not so awesome.
Yeah. And this goes back to Rob and I being friends and watching totally 80s videos on VH1 for hours on end, just drinking beers because I live down the road and that's what we did. So this is a perfect song. It's a great power song too. It's all time.
Absolutely.
Just a good hook, great verses. Obviously Steve Perry's got a great voice. It's just awesome from front to back. So Separate Ways by Journey.
Full song for sure.
I agree. Great song, great band. In a lot of ways, this is kind of a big statement, but I still feel like Journey is underrated, So I know Steve Perry left the band, but man, they are so timeless. And like these songs are just so fucking good. Like, and even if the music videos are corny, like I forget which one of you mentioned it, but like, yeah, it was corny because that was the time. It's just like watching an 80s horror movie. It's also corny. Like it's just, unfortunately, it's just that's what it was like. So yeah, good pick, man. I could root for that all day.
Well, just in what you just said, Tone, as far as we're thinking about bands that have had 3 lead singers, Journey.
Yep. Not at the same time.
Exactly. And they're still like, that shows you right there how powerful a band is. I mean, we all look back and like Steve Perry is Journey. Jonathan Cain and Neil Sean, they're great musicians, but you look back, Steve Perry is Journey. Mm-hmm. And here they are, hasn't been in the band in what, 20, 25 years, and they're still touring. Or the guy that, respectively sounds just like him, but oftentimes that wouldn't work.
Right.
No, totally.
And it typically doesn't. Yeah.
Right. There was a period, and I tried to find this video today of it was a Sunday morning. I was having my coffee. I got a Facebook message from Rob, and I'm like, what could this be? And it's just a video of Rob playing air keyboard on his wall while watching this video. So I was like, I have to include this one tonight. And I wish I could find it. I did that. Oh, it's so good. It was probably Snapchat, and that's probably why it's gone. But man, it made me laugh. I nearly spit my coffee up all over the couch. So
Well, you are good with dates and whatnot. If you tell me like around when it was, I could look at my memories on Snapchat.
It's probably there. Yeah, that's true. Maybe we'll find it.
The video, it's just a tier below Ricky Astley's, Rick Roll video. It's not quite that,
right?
Viral meme. Although it is. I mean, this video is a thing now, and I'm here for it. I mean, it's great. The song's great. Good choice.
They should show that video to a group of young teenagers and just watch and just film their reactions. That would be amazing.
That probably exists on YouTube.
Yeah. It's gotta.
Nate's check out my YouTube channel. I've done that.
Yep. Show it to all the TikTokers. No, check out this. This is OG.
Look at how far we've come.
Right.
So Nate, you're
all
up.
right, Nate.
Round
what do you got, man?
2.
Oh man, I'm looking at a huge list because I'm so indecisive. I'm gonna go with this.
See, I could never come into this meeting or this podcast with a list in front of me. I would drive myself absolutely crazy.
Well,
so,
a lot of
props to you.
A lot of it's backup because a lot of the times we come up with the same stuff and we're none of us speak about what we're bringing to the table before the podcast. We just happen to be in a similar mindset all the time. So this one's a 90s OG. I'm going to do a little quiz like you guys did earlier because I didn't do it for the first one. So 90s OG. Any guesses? That's usually how you
we need more than that. That's
Paula Cole. Where have all the cowboys?
Sugar Ray Fly.
I like Paula Cole. I mean, it's Paula Cole. Sean Colvin. I don't want to wait.
No, that was Paula Cole too.
That was Paula Cole. Damn it.
Close, but no.
Len, Steal My Sunshine. 90s OG.
Lisa Loeb.
Oh, man. Len is actually probably could make this list.
That's a beach
I was
house
just
one,
listening
too.
to Len's greatest hits the other day.
Yeah, the one song.
That one song.
That was just Steal My Sunshine on repeat.
Wait a second. When did Bad Ronald come out?
Been waiting all day for that Bad Ronald. That was 2000.
Damn.
No one's going to get that joke because nobody knows who Bad Ronald is except for
Yeah.
Go check out Let's Begin. Is that the name of the song?
Yes.
Let's Begin.
Shit.
Yeah,
Now
go check
let's
that
begin.
video out. It's ridiculous.
Yes. It's got 7,000 clicks on YouTube. Now I feel bad because those guys were great. I don't mean to rip on them.
Yeah, you met them. They played a Holiday Bazaar, didn't they?
Yes. And I interviewed them and they were super fun.
Yeah. Well, they had to be. They made Let's Begin.
Old school Patio Slave tangent squared.
Yeah. Tone, good thing you're good at editing all this stuff out.
This is all staying, my friend.
So you said it's 90s, right?
Yep. And this song, similar to what you said, Twan, has been covered by a lot of people. Very, very strong lyrical progression and just, I don't want to say relatable, but just very good storytelling in this song.
Tracy Chapman.
It is. Tracy
Fast Car?
Chapman.
Yep.
Fast Car.
Yep.
Tracy Chapman Fast Car is from 1988.
Oh, is it really? I thought it was from 90 something.
80s OG.
Yeah.
Shit.
I love how we all have our storytelling songs. That's an amazing one right there. That's such a good song.
So yeah, an 80s OG, not a 90s OG. Tracy Chapman Fast Car. One of the best songs ever written, gotta say. First time I heard it, I can't even remember how old I was. I was definitely a child, and I just remember thinking this is a really cool song. And listening to it in a Walkman, just being like, man, this is not even really relatable, but I feel like I'm being brought to that situation through her lyrics.
Hit you right in the feels.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this was one that came to mind right away, and I kind of put it on a maybe list, but I had to pick it just because I still believe this is one of the best songs ever written. Could be covered by anyone, by any genre. Fantastic song. She's so good. It's someone that I've been trying to see live forever, but she just doesn't tour.
Phenomenal voice too, right? I mean, she is one of a kind as far as that sound.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're right on the covers. I've heard a Luke Combs cover. I've heard Khalid, the R&B guy.
Yep.
I'm trying to think of who else, but it works. I mean, that's a country guy. That's an R&B guy. It just fucking works.
The hip hop band Nice and Smooth actually sampled the song back in the early 90s. You guys might not remember that one, but
Nice and Smooth. No, I don't remember that at all, but I believe you.
Go check out Nice and Smooth. They're a band from the late 80s, early 90s hip hop. Kind of fun. Didn't really hear from them again, but their song was Sometimes I Rhyme Slow. That was the one that sampled Fast Car.
Oh, nice.
All right.
Yep.
See, this is why we have Rob on, because nerd tidbits like that, we always come up with them. Rob had another one that's next level for us.
Yeah, I'll just go a few years further back and deeper under the nerd
I was going to
covers.
say you're a decade ahead of us.
Right. I mean, we all got beards going on. I'm pretty sure mine's the whitest, but that's okay.
Mine's hiding.
Yeah, so Tracy Chapman Fast Car. And I think maybe that's a variable to what makes a bona fide all-time song is the fact that it's transferable upon genres.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody sees the value in it, and it can be extrapolated to different types of music and different genres because of how good the bones of the song are. That's a great point.
Yeah.
All right, I guess I'm up. All right, so this next song, I'm pretty confident. I don't think that anybody in the room here is going to disagree with this one. 1999.
Ooh.
And,
Nookie. Limp Bizkit's Nookie.
Californication, Red Hot Chili Peppers.
This song was very same time period as well, it wasn't. It was the summer, I believe, when this one came out, and it's the song. I think Tone's gonna get it first. It's the song that it was everywhere for so long, and when you hear a song over and over again, you often get sick of it. But this song, I never got sick of, and I don't think I ever changed the channel if it came on the radio. And it's an interesting collaboration. Couple of artists you wouldn't expect to see team up for a song.
Rob Thomas and Santana's Smooth.
Ba-boom.
Yes.
Whoa. Nice.
There it is. Yeah, perfect song. Just from the very beginning of it with the drum intro and going into the, brass sections, intro, the horn solos, and Rob Thomas's vocals with Santana's guitar playing is something that I don't think anybody ever would have imagined or thought of, but it just worked so well.
It is a great song. And I mean, even that first line, man, it's a hot one.
Yeah.
7 inches from the midday sun. It's like,
you're just like, all right,
yes.
We're in for a ride right now. This is going to be fun. This is going to be a good time. And that obviously that Santana riff and putting those two together, whoever's idea that was, hopefully it was theirs. Who knows, whatever. That's awesome. Cause it was a massive, massive hit. You couldn't get away from it. And I wouldn't change the channel today, even. And I've heard it 1,000,
right.
100,000 times.
And you and I, Tone, have sent each other the memes. It's like, Santana, Rob Thomas, Smooth. It's the song of the year for the 12th year in a row.
Yeah, it is, because it is. It's so good.
It was number one for 12 weeks on the charts. And it was one of those songs that here's another fun fact, another nerd fact. It was the last number one of the 1990s and the first number one of the 2000s.
That's
nerd
cool.
Facts.
Yeah. So. Yeah,
it turned a whole generation onto Santana. Now, I don't know if they liked what they heard beyond this, but at least they knew who he was.
Yep.
If you liked guitar, though, you were like, oh, wow, this guy's cool. Like, you might listen to him do his thing from, previous years. You're right. It did turn a whole bunch of people onto a whole different world.
It began the bonding process, I think, for a lot of parents and kids, too.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You got Rob Thomas and you got this old guy, Santana. He's pretty cool.
Yeah.
They just tried it again, too. I don't know if you guys heard that, but they did a song like a few months ago, and it was pretty cool, but it was no Smooth, and you can't blame them for trying it.
It was Smooth Criminal. They covered Smooth Criminal.
It was nice and smooth is what it was.
Yes, exactly. It was Smooth Operator.
Little Sade.
No, the song was actually called Move. I don't know if you guys heard it, but it was pretty cool. But I can see that, let's try and, bring this thing back because it was so huge at the time. But
I'm surprised it took that long. Let's be honest.
Too.
Why did that not happen 3 years later,
Right. Mm-hmm. It's like Top Gun, the sequel. It's the same thing. What the hell
pandemic happened, so they ran out of creativity.
Right.
This is on the back burner in 2019, but damn, sorry guys.
Right. So was everything else.
I think this was also the launch of Rob Thomas's solo career too, right?
Stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah. It absolutely was. Yeah. Because Matchbox 20's second album wasn't even out yet.
Oh yeah, true. And I think Santana had collaborated with a bunch of people after this too. So it was almost like a test market.
Well, that album Supernatural was mainly collaborations.
Okay.
Yep. So Wyclef was on there, and God, it's been so long since I've listened to that album. I can't even think who else was on it.
If you're gone, maybe it's time to come home.
Was that Scott Stapp doing Rob Thomas?
Twan has one impression. It's Scott Stapp.
My name's Scott Stapp, and I got a fucked up jaw, and I got beat up by Peanut.
Episode 70, guys. Go listen.
With or without you. That's Bono, right?
That's Bono, yeah.
Live. Marlins will soar. Comes up every fifth
The
episode.
Marlins will soar, baby.
Oh my God.
Well, that's a good one, Rob. All right, we all have. I think the three of us have one left. So let's, Twan, you got your next one, your last one. Yeah, let's hear
This
it.
might be a quick one, just because you guys know the artist. I don't know if you know the song. So it's not a '90s OG. It came out 8 years ago now, 2014. The album is "Get Hurt." The song is a title track by the Gaslight Anthem.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Ooh,
So
right.
this song, it's like, it's got the grittiness, the raspiness of Brian Fallon's voice with the major label production, and it just combined brilliantly. It's really like subdued, it's chill, it's kind of a dark song, and then it hits you at the chorus where it's not like overbearing, but it'll get you to perk up type of thing. And it's not a happy song. Like Fallon had just come out of a divorce after 10 years with his wife. I guess he was listening to a lot of Pearl Jam's No Code album. So I don't know if that's a dark album. You guys would know.
Kind of a dark album, yeah.
Yeah, just a guy who's in a desperate place. He's boozing a lot, and he just comes crawling back to a girl, knowing he's going to get hurt. I mean, the chorus is, "I came to get hurt," and he's just along for the ride. So, again, my guess is autobiographical.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a theme here with a lot of this stuff. It's storytelling, and I assume this is based on his life.
That is the only Gaslight Anthem album I have ever bought.
Great
I
album.
love that band. And I can't think of the song that you're talking about right now, but I know I've heard it because that's the same album with 45 on it, right?
No, that
Different
was before. Handwritten.
Oh, that was before.
Handwritten,
So
right?
maybe I haven't even heard this record or the song then.
Yeah, that's 45's on Handwritten, I think, right?
I think
Yes,
it is.
Yeah.
And that record's great too. I mean, they're a great band. I mean, we all ride for the Gaslight Anthem and the Springsteen worship. We all, to
It's
start
heavy.
and bring it full circle. I love
I'm
it.
driving a lot these days. I'm putting that on my list
Yes,
of
it's a
albums
good
to
record.
listen to.
It's a good
This
record.
song will just put you in a vibe, and probably not a good one. But it's got that polish. It's definitely it somehow blends the rawness that is Fallon in his voice and his honesty and whatnot. But it's got some polish. It fits the definition of this episode. It's fucking perfect.
Good pick.
And you just said something too, where you might listen to it and it might not put you in a good mood. Like maybe it's not a good vibe song in terms of where it's going to bring you. But additionally, hearing other people tell stories about hard times, even if it's not relatable, makes you feel better because you're like, oh, okay, everyone struggles. Everyone has shit they have to deal with. That makes it better. And then that, for whatever reason, translates into, okay, things are going to be okay. Music is a weird thing like that.
Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely.
I think Michael Stipe once said, "Everybody hurts sometimes."
Yep.
Yeah, right. He did
Yeah.
say that. He said something like that. Yeah.
He was right too.
He was right. No, that's a good point, Nate. It's one of those. It might be a super sad song, but it just lets you know that everybody has struggles.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was who was it? The singer of Poison said, "Every rose has its thorn."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've also heard that as well.
Yeah.
I also heard, Twan, to your point, I also heard that every cowboy sings a sad song as well.
You did.
Also true.
I think you heard correctly.
Yeah.
Wow. Tone's segueing perfectly into my next pick. Every rose has its thorn.
You're right. No, that's my favorite. That is my next perfect song. No, it's not. I will give you my next perfect song, my last perfect song of the evening. It is the first song on the first album by a 90s OG band that I ride for forever. Go back and listen to episode 3. I talked about it then. We've brought episode 3 up a couple times the last couple weeks. This record dropped, I think, in 93. I had to look it up. It will always hold a special place in my heart. It's a record that I listen to every year at the same time on purpose. They're one of my favorite bands ever. And the opening track of this album is the song I'm talking about. What album am I talking about, boys?
Counting Crows,
Counting Crows, yeah.
August and Everything After.
Yeah, Round Here is a perfect song.
Yep.
And again, it's autobiographical. Maybe it's at least tells a story.
It's so good.
That opening airy riff, and you're just like, man, this is how you open your music career. Holy
Right.
shit!
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's so good. It's man, and it speeds up in the middle. and then it gets back into the story. It's so fucking good, and I will never turn it off. I'll put it on more often than I probably should, and one of my favorite bands ever. And this song is probably my favorite, if not a top 3 song by them. So, Round Here by the Counting Crows.
Absolutely, great pick. And I didn't even think about that when you said you're starting your career opening up your album with this song.
Yep.
The lyrics are a book. I mean, it's.
Yep.
I mean, the saying is they don't make them like they used to. I mean, no one puts this much time into the lyrics nowadays.
Nope.
No.
Mm-hmm.
No. God, can we just bring back the 90s?
I know, right?
Trust me. You know I would sign up. I'm a big advocate for the 90s. It's my favorite. But yeah, man, that intro for that song, talk about like just capturing the energy and also just, I mean, it's almost like watching a symphony start. You're just like, everything's like dead quiet. You're just like waiting for this band to like crescendo into the song. Like, it's amazing. That's an amazing track, an amazing opening track for a show, amazing song that you feel like you could hear in a club, but also in a full up arena or shed. Timeless, absolutely timeless. 90s OG, like you said. The emotion in Adam's voice is just next level. You feel like you want to cry just hearing him just open that song in the first few sentences. You're like, God damn, like, how do you do that?
He was always good for a gloomy but beautiful song. Like he nailed it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's a 90s thing.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, him, Jenkins, I mean, you feel the pain.
Yeah.
And like,
right.
Should I be sad now? Because I'm starting to feel sad.
Well, another Counting Crows song, to your point, that reminds me of Round Here, just because I love it so much, and it also hits home personally, is A Long December.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very similar mood. It's just like, but it's such a beautiful song.
It's so good. Yeah. There are a lot of really amazing songs in that band's catalog, and people like to rag on them, and I don't understand it because, like, it's just so good. Like, yeah, maybe he dated a bunch of actresses in the late 90s. Like, he made his way through the cast of Friends, as they say, but who cares? Like, the music is fucking great, and if he's a weirdo outside, he wasn't ever a creep, which is a good thing. Other people have been.
He's just a weirdo.
He's just a weirdo. Like, he's a guy with.
Most
dreads,
musicians
like,
are weirdos.
Yeah, exactly. We're okay with that.
Yeah.
Yep. He's a older version of John Mayer, basically, right?
Yeah, pretty much, right? Virtuoso, but like it was obviously tied to a bunch of people, and and puts out great music. I mean, John Mayer's damn good too.
Exactly. Yep.
All right, Nate, last one. Let's do it.
John Mayer, your body is a wonderland.
Yep. Big room for squares, guy. Yeah.
Dumb, spoiled the surprise.
Oh man. Well, this theme is very much so intact with the storytelling, so I'm gonna do another one. Why the hell not? Mine's gonna switch up the genres a little bit. This one's a little bit heavier, I guess you'd say. Not really sure what to do for clues here, so I'm just gonna come out with it. It's Metallica, Fade to Black.
All right.
I put this in high regard as one of just a quintessential perfect song, mainly because we're talking about so many different styles of music here, but I think we can all agree that heavy music is pinnacle for all of us. Whatever reason, I don't know if it's because it fills a hole or if it helps us process tough times or whatever. This song literally captures every element of all those things in one song. Starts off soft, it gets heavy at the end. There's amazing guitar solos, the lyrics. James is talking about some pretty heavy stuff throughout the song. Every time I listen to it, it's like similar to what you said with Counting Crows. It's like, God damn, like this is intense, And like you said, Twan, I feel like I should cry just listening to this. It's like so deep and so dark. And so, I mean, I feel for James in this song right now. I listened to it again today when I was writing this down. I'm like, I almost feel like I need to revisit the song now that it popped in my head, But everything about it, chord progression, we were kind of talking about what the foundation is to a perfect song. And this kind of hits all those elements.
Great pick.
And it's amazing it came out in 84. This was, Ride the Lightning?
Yep.
Damn, a lot of 80s tonight.
I know.
And I'm the only one that
songs.
didn't pick an 80s choice, which is really weird because that's my decade that I love.
That's wild.
Musically.
That's absolutely wild that you didn't pick one because that's you
so
to a T.
I know. It's so weird. Like I said, I didn't spend a whole lot of time doing this because I would have gotten myself into a rabbit hole and I would have lost my whole day. Be like, no, I can't do that. I got to do this one. No, I can't do this one. So I just went with those initial 3 that popped in my head. But no, those are all great picks, boys. I like every single one of them are awesome in their own ways. A lot of storytelling, great hooks, good melodies, lyrics, instrumental progression, all of it. It's great.
Man, that was a great little hang with masterpiece songs, quintessential songs to us personally. But I think we all kind of agree that, universally, these are all amazing songs. And I think a recurring theme throughout the picks that we chose tonight is the fact that storytelling is basically what a song is, right? It's a story being told through music, whether it's instrumentally or vocally, whether you can relate with it or not. It's important and staple to our lives. And that's why we jumped on here to talk about them. I had a ton of songs written down. We rounded it down to 3 each. We could go on forever. Like Rob said earlier, we could just make a whole weekend of this and get into the rabbit hole of nerdery. But I think we did a pretty good job tonight. So interested what anyone listening, what your songs are. Like, what are you digging? I had a bunch here, but I'm just curious. Like, what are you listening to? What are you thinking? What are your top 3 quintessential songs? So
I love looking at other people's lists like that because you'll still see songs that you don't even know. Exactly. You're like, all right, well, if that's their top 3, then I have to go listen to this song. So I love that.
And lyrics play such a big part for me, and that, it ties into the storytelling. And I think it's like we said earlier. I think it's kind of a lost art. Like, I can't think of a perfect song where the lyrics suck. It just wouldn't naturally rise to the top. And most songs where the lyrics sucks, the song sucks.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. But if the lyrics suck, then that would kind of just pull it out of that spot of being the quintessential song.
Yeah. Nate's like, totally. Down with the Sickness is great lyrically.
Screw you, man. Saliva, your disease.
Oh, wow. We're going from Click, Click, Boom to Your Disease. All right.
Yeah. Or Hollywood. I mean, I can name a bunch of songs off that record if you'd like.
Oh, my God.
All right. Hey, thank you, Rob, for coming on with us tonight. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, guys.
If you want to listen to more of Rob, go back and listen to episode 17. We had Rob back then, and that was a blast, too. And we went into his kind of history as a radio DJ and his almost, close to 25 or so years in the industry. So go peep that. And then if you want to hit us up at Podioslave, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. And then if you want to email us, podioslavepodcast@gmail.com. All that stuff is at podioslave.com. Go check that out. That website is badass now. Twan made that thing really pretty. So all our cool stuff is there. And you can get to any episode, any press, any of our stuff there. So check that stuff out. We'll be back next week with episode 97. Peace, podheads.
See you later.
Cheers, y'all.